The most amazing thing to me about John was that he was absolutely, delightfully, wonderfully flawed, and not only knew it, but never tried to hide it, never tried to deny it, always tried to be better, but never pretended to be something he wasn't. And that to me was the most wonderful example of a Christian man that I had ever seen, because the whole thing about Christians trying to be nicer than Jesus just always bothered me. And
we're humans.
Yeah, we're humans, and we've got scars, and we've got miles, and we've done bad things. And here's the big difference. Most people say, I've done bad things, and by the blood of Christ, I'm never going to do them again. Oh, crap. You know, I've done bad things, and by the blood of Christ, He'll forgive me when I do them again. And it doesn't mean I'm going to do them on purpose, but I'm flawed. And I had met a bunch of Christian men who were like sweater-wearing, hide their whiskey hypocrites. And your dad was just the most amazing example of a Christian man I'd ever met. Still,
Yeah.
I've still never met anyone like Johnny Cash.
Me either.
No, I won't. No, I think that when the man comes around, it was John's gift of trying to explain the complexity of his understanding of Christ and of the final days, or the final day, which we all have, from his perspective, so that people could understand not the truth, but John's truth, John's understanding of the truth, which is another thing I think that set John aside from just about everybody else, because everybody else tells you, this is how it is, but John said, this is how I understand it. And
He didn't force it on you.
no, he would never. No, and he would never.
Well, he sort of did me, but I'm stuck.
It's all right. He would also never pretend or be so boastful to tell you that his way was the way.
His humility was unbelievable.
Yeah, and I tell people, they say, tell me something about Johnny Cash that people don't know. And I said, well, Johnny Cash was a flawed man who was held together by his love of Christ and his fear of June. and then I say, and by fear of June, because it's funny, I'm a funny guy, I like comedy. But then I explained just a little bit further. His fear of June was his fear of ever disappointing her. Because the last thing in the world that man wanted to do was disappoint that woman. And I think...
Like he disappointed my mother.
Yeah, because he knew he would. He knew he could.
He knew
He knew he could, because he knew, by the grace of God, I've been forgiven, and by the grace of God, I will need to be forgiven hence.
That's great, John.
I love that man.
I do too.
And I have really one regret in life. Last time I talked to your dad, I spoke to him from the phone at the mall in Hendersonville, and he was not feeling well. And I said, "Hey, I'm here. I'm going to come by and hug your neck." And he said, "Well, I'm not feeling all that up to it, that strong today, John. So, maybe another time. Not maybe another, but let's do it another time." And I gave in to that wish, and I shouldn't have, because now I'm older and I know that when someone says that, what they're really saying is, get here as quick as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So
And he was completely blind.
breaks my heart.
He didn't tell anyone.
Well, he knew he had a house prepared elsewhere.
And he was gone in 2 months later.
Yeah, yeah. And
I never.
you know, if there's a heaven, June's in it. At that point, if there's a heaven, June's in it, and the house that was prepared for them was full of furniture.
And antiques.
and
He had black
big,
belt in shopping.
big hotel furniture.
Black belt in shopping. That was his favorite thing. He had black belt in shopping. He'd say, "My bus, you don't even have to turn the steering wheel anymore. If my bus sees an antique sign, it goes."
There it goes. Oh, Johnny Cash impacted my life in such a great way because I don't. I'm me. So when I talk to, especially when I rub Christians the wrong way all the time because they want you to be what they expect you to be and how they expect you to be. And not all of them, I don't want to be judgmental about that, but a large number of Christians are very set in their ways, and they are therefore set in what they believe your ways should be. And and John was never like that. And I've never been like that. And I wasn't like that before. Here, my head itches, and I'm gonna do your dad an honor and scratch it the way he would.
You have to kick your leg.
So yeah, he's impacted my walk, because I know it's with Christ. It's not with some church. It's not with some body of church. It's not with really even with some belief system. It's not with some dogma or doctrine. It's between me and God, which is what it should be. And what it is, really, ultimately, it's what it is. So that's helped me to not turn into one of those people who was worried about what the church thought, because who cares? It's about what God thinks. It's when the man comes around, not when the congregation comes around, or he would have had a different song.
That's a great ending right there.
Yeah.
Hey,
And I read, did you ever read the Conversion of the Apostle Paul? You ever read The Man in White?
Man in White, oh, I love it.
Yeah,
Tried to.
love The
And
Man
I was
in
pretty
White.
young when it came out, and I could barely take it in. I had to read it again when I got older.
Who but John R. Cash would write a
A
third person or a first person perspective from on the Apostle Paul?
He spent 9 years on that book,
It's wonderful.
and he read every Bible ever written and every book ever written on every Bible ever written
Wow,
before he wrote it, because he wanted all the facts.
it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Johnny was never casually interested in anything. He was either absolutely, totally head over heels interested in something and focused on it, or not. You know, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Not a multitasking person. He was a single tasking person. And I mean, I was with him when he read the Bible
Yeah.
on tape.